Hi, it's Dawn from Ninja Bunny Crochet. Today I have for us to do this chunky knit look hat. You can use this pattern to do the to make a hat for the HATNOTHATE program through Lion Brand. I'll put a link in the description box below if you're interested in learning more about that program. This hat will fit a head size 18 to 20 inches. You might be able to use it for a 21-inch head circumference, but 18 to 20 inches would be best. So it would be a closer to a child-sized head. I do have a small head myself because that's me in the thumbnail, so it does fit an adult with a smaller size head or a child. I made this using Lion Brand Hometown USA. This is a super bulky yarn. It is 100% acrylic. It's a 4-ounce skein with 64 yards. I used the entire skein to make this hat. I had just a smidgen of it left over, literally just a little tiny ball of yarn. If you are a loose crocheter, you're probably going to want to have an extra skein available just to make sure you have enough to finish the hat. You will need a L size or an 8mm crochet hook. You're going to want a pair of scissors and a yarn needle with a large enough eye on it to fit the yarn. Once you have all of your supplies, let's get started making this chunky knit look hat. To start the hat, we're going to start with a chain of 7. I'm going to start second chain from the hook. The loop on your hook does not count as a stitch. So we're going to 1, 2, we're going to start in this stitch here with a single crochet. And we're going to place 1 single crochet into each stitch all the way down the chain. At the end of the chain, you should have 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. For row 2, chain 1, turn the work. For that very first stitch, you're going to go through both loops and single crochet. The next 4 stitches, you're going to go through the back loop only. If you're unfamiliar with your front loops and your back loops, the loop that faces you is your front loop. The loop that's away from you is your back loop. So we're going to work in the back loops only for the next 4 stitches. One, 2, 3, and 4. The last stitch, go through both loops right there and do a regular single crochet. For row 3, chain 1, turn the work, and we're going to repeat row 2. So go through both loops and then back loops only for the next 4 stitches. And in the last stitch, both loops. So you're always going to have a regular single crochet in the beginning and the end, and we're going to go through the back loops in the 4 stitches in between. So we're at row 3, and we're going to continue repeating the same pattern until we get to row 40. I'll meet back up with you at the end of row 40. I'm at the end of row 40. I still have 6 stitches. I'm going to chain 1 and bring up row 1 to meet row 40, just like that. And then I'm going to turn the work, and I'm going to slip stitch across to form the seam. So I'm going to, in the free loops of row 1 and in the back loops, or excuse me, front loops of row 40. You can go through both loops of row 40 if you want to. I just like to go through the front loops. It's completely up to you how you slip stitch your row together. Get that tail out of the way. And then that last stitch, and go through that last stitch, and I'm going to go ahead and chain 1 again. I'm going to take out my hook, turn this right side out, and turn the piece around so that the right side is facing me now. And go ahead and put my hook back in. I've already chained 1. And now working along the ends of the rows, you can work over that little tail right here. You can place it up along here and work over the top of it, or you can push it to the back and weave it in later. So we're going to put 1 single crochet in the ends of each of the rows. Here my yarn split. Bear with me 1 second, my yarn split. There, that did not look very nice. There we go. So we're going to place 1 single crochet into the ends of each of the rows around the hat. And we should have 40 single crochets all the way around the hat, working in the ends of the rows. Continue working 1 single crochet into the ends of each of the rows to get back to the beginning, and I'll meet back up with you at the end of the round. I've made it all the way back around. I have 40 single crochets, and to end round 1 we're going to slip stitch into that first single crochet that we made. To start row 2 we're going to chain 1, and we're going to be working right back into that same stitch that we just slip stitched into. We're going to work into the back loop only, so that would be the loop back here, and we're going to do a single crochet. In our next stitch we're going to work in the front loop and do a single crochet. Then the next stitch we're going to work in the back loop. Then in the front loop of the next stitch with a single crochet, back loop of the next stitch, single crochet, then front loop of the next stitch, and that's the pattern all the way around. We're going to go back loop, front loop, back loop, front loop. So please complete this all the way around to get back to the beginning, and I'll meet back up with you at the end of the round. I'm at the end of round 2. We still have 40 stitches, and we're going to slip stitch into that first single crochet that we made. To start row 3, we're going to chain 1 and right back into the same stitch that we slip stitched into. We're going to work another single crochet, but this time we're going to work in the front loop. So we're going to grab that front loop to start this row and single crochet. And the next stitch we're going to work in the back loop. Then the front loop of the next stitch, back loop of the next stitch, front loop of the next stitch, work your single crochet, and the back loop of the next stitch. So that's going to be our repeat for this row. We're going to go front loop, back loop, front loop, back loop, front loop, and back loop, all the way around until you get to the end of the row, and I'll meet back up with you at the end of the row. I'm at the end of round 3. We still have 40 stitches. We're going to slip stitch into that first single crochet that we made. For rounds 4 through 6, we're going to repeat rows 2 and 3. So it's going to be row 2, row 3, row 2, row 3, row 2, row 3, till we get to row 6. So we're going to chain 1, and we're going to go into that same stitch that we just slip stitched into the back loop, just like we did for row 2, or round 2. Then in the front loop, then back loop, front loop, back loop. And you're going to repeat that all the way around for round 4. And then we're going to repeat round 3 for round 5 and round 2 for round 6. And I'll meet back up with you at the end of round 6. I'm at the end of round 6. We still have 40 stitches. We're going to slip stitch into that first single crochet that we made. To start round 7, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to go back into that same stitch that we just slip stitched into and do a single crochet into the front loop and a single crochet in the next stitch in the back loop, and then we're going to single 2 together in the next stitches. So we're going to go pull up a loop in the front loop of the next stitch and in the back loop of the next stitch. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Pull up a loop, single crochet in the front loop of the next stitch, single crochet in the back loop of the next stitch, and then we're going to single crochet 2 together. So pull up a loop in the front loop of the next stitch, back loop of the next stitch, yarn over, and pull through all 3. And that's going to be our repeat pattern. I'll do it one more time to show you how we're going to do that. Single crochet in the front loop of the next stitch, single crochet in the back loop of the next stitch, and then we're going to single crochet 2 together, pull up a loop in the front loop of the next stitch, back loop of the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3. Please continue this all the way around to get back to the beginning, and I'll meet back up with you at the end of the round. I'm at the end of round 7. We have 30 stitches, and we're going to slip stitch into that first single crochet that we made. To start round 8, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to start with in the same stitch that we just slip stitched into, we're going to do a single crochet in the back loop. Then we're going to single crochet 2 together, and we're going to start with a front loop, pull up a loop, back loop, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops. Now since we ended with the back loop, this next stitch will be a front loop, and we're going to do that as a front loop single crochet. Next stitch we're going to single 2 together, but we ended with a front loop single crochet, so we're going to start with pulling a loop up in the back loop. Then we're going to pull a loop up in the front loop, yarn over, and pull through. So we're going to continue, even though we're decreasing, in pattern. And since this ended with a front loop, our next stitch for our regular single crochet is going to be in the back loop. Now we're going to repeat that pattern again. So we're going to be doing, pulling up for a front loop, back loop, yarn over, pull together. Then we're going to do a regular front loop single crochet. And then we're going to single two together, but we're going to start in the back loop. Single two together, and now this one's going to be a single crochet in the back loop. I hope that makes sense. So you're going to continue that pattern all the way around till you get to back to the beginning, and I'll meet back up with you at the end of the round. I'm at the end of row 8. We have 20 stitches. We're going to slip stitch to that first single crochet that we did, chain 1. To start row 9, we're going to start with a front loop. We're going to pull up a loop and pull up a loop in the back loop of the next stitch, and we're going to single crochet those two together, and we're going to repeat that again, and we're going to repeat that all the way around. Front loop, then the back loop, and single crochet the two together. So please repeat this all the way around, and I'll meet back up with you at the end of the round. I'm at the end of row 9. I'm going to slip stitch to that first single crochet that we made. For our last round, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to repeat exactly what we did before, except we're going to start in the back loop. So pull up a loop, and then pull up a loop in the next one in the front loop, yarn over, and bring them together. We're going to repeat that all the way around. In the back loop, then in the front loop, and pull them through. Repeat this all the way around. You should have 5 stitches left, and then fasten off. Leave a long enough tail so you can sew the top together. I'll meet back up with you at the end of the round. I made it all the way back around. This is my first stitch, so I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch into that one, and then I'm going to fasten off. We just need to sew this closed, which I'll do that. Let's grab the yarn needle. I'm going to thread that up. Give us a little room here so you can see. I know it's kind of hard because it's variegated yarn to actually see what I'm doing, but I'm just going to go in and out of that row 10. And just pull those nice and tight, just pull that closed. And then I like to go across and just put a few stay stitches in, so it doesn't open back up. And then go right down through the middle and bring it to the inside. And put a little knot there. And tie it off. Now we're going to take our hat, and where we seamed it together, we're going to go ahead and hold it so that the top of the hat is facing you, and attach your yarn to the bottom of the hat. And you can do this with a slip stitch. And then we're going to just put a row of single crochet along that bottom edge of the hat. It just helps to strengthen that bottom edge. And it also gives it a nice finished look as well. So you should have approximately 40 single crochets along that bottom edge. So continue placing your single crochets along that bottom edge, and I'll meet back up with you at the end of the round. I've made it all the way back around, and I'm going to pull up my yarn and get my yarn needle to finish this off. And just weave in your ends, which I'm just going to weave this one end in right now. The other one I will weave in afterwards. Just snip those off later. And here is our finished hat. So if you've liked this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to ring that bell. Thanks for watching and happy crocheting. Bye-bye.